What is a good starter video game for a middle-aged man who has never really played before? I'd recommend starting off with a more casual game to get your feet in the water before you dive right in, just so you get to know how things work. I'd recommend Plants vs Zombies or Spyro Reignited as great starters, though you have to have a damn good PC to play Spyro Edit. To those pointing out you don't need a good PC to run Spyro, yeah right, I ducked up. I just figured that, since my gaming laptop couldn't run it at high quality without chugging, that must mean you need a good PC. But it seems I was wrong. Have fun gaming. Minecraft. Stardew Valley. You all can play together. It's wholesome. Takes time and a lot of things to discover. I don't play video games ever, but got the hang of this pretty easily. Once I got the fishing and mining figured out, nothing could stop me. It's like 15 on Steam and I use my laptop. Get a Nintendo. Like parents used to say in the olden days. Today this means a Nintendo Switch. If you are alone you can play Zelda or Mario Odyssey. If you have people to play with, you can play party games like Mario Kart. Nintendo games are popular and easy on new players. You can have fun as a kid, a teen, or an adult. Can't go wrong. I started with a game called Super Mario Bros. Edit. I wrote a comment yesterday and thought that's some good content right there. It got one upvote. I strongly recommend the Lego games. So much fun. I believe most of them have multiplayer as well. I wanted to be more specific, but apparently that broke the submission rules and was removed. We have no console, so online games or downloads only. Bonus if it is a game my wife and 15-year-old stepdaughter can play together. Edit. JFC. I posted this then got caught up in work. I have a lot of reading to do. How am I supposed to ever get to the actual games? Thank you all for the feedback and suggestions. Edit 2. I'm hearing on here that my computer video card might affect my ability to play video games. I have a Dell XPS 13 Core i7 2018 that apparently has 128 megabytes dedicated Intel UHD graphics 620. No idea if that card is good enough or if I need to consider upgrading. Edit 3 gold. 13k upvotes. For my little question that I hoped might get a couple of serious replies. I'm blushing. How do I see who gifted it? What do I do with it also? RIP Inbox never had to say that before. A lot of people are listing some really big adventure games. Overcooked and Overcooked 2 are some of the most entertaining, family friendly, and easy to understand games around. Everyone can play together. Some suggestions you've gotten that are downright bad for a new gamers. And why? Portal 1 or 2. While 90 is puzzles that take a bit of time, but are doable, there are some complicated parts. If unfamiliar with first-person shooter controls, you might run into an issue getting up a very large shaft in Portal 1. For example, since you'll be required to move the mouse quickly and effectively while flying through the air and aiming new portals. The Stanley Parable. While it's simple to play through, most of the comedy of this game might be lost on someone who hasn't played a lot of games already. It subverts a lot of norms, which is just going to be confusing without knowing the norms and what the subversion of them is supposed to represent. Civilization. I have to imagine this was suggested as a joke. Don't try to make this your first game. Seriously. It is complex and first time gamers probably won't even find it very fun. Dark Souls. You have probably already heard about how terribly difficult this game can be. Some suggestions you've gotten that are good. Stardew Valley. There's no rush in it. No real backwards progress, so you don't have to worry about failure. It's calming and cheerful, and you can get a feel for progression through actions and how menus work. Overcooked. It's hectic but it's all in fun. You don't need to know much about menus and there's very little you'll need to learn to start playing immediately. Low difficulty curve to start, but it expands as you go. Minecraft. Comfortable atmosphere during the day, and for the most part you can avoid combat if you need to. There's a large amount of expanded gamma play once you get into fighting and exploring, but you can play at your own pace fairly easily and learn on your own terms. Apparently there is a recipe book for every crafted item in the game. which is a new addition that makes this doable as a first time gamer. Note: I'd suggest having someone help you out with this if you know someone who has played before. Plants vs Zombies. Simple to understand. Very approachable for first time or casual gamers. My personal recommendations: Ed second Overcooked and Stardew Valley Firewatch. A beautiful story, no backwards progression, and a basic UI to get you acclimated to how game UI tends to work. Geometry Wars 1, 2, and 3. Note: only if you have an Xbox controller for your PC. This game can get extremely difficult at higher levels, but there's plenty of fun at lower levels and it's easy to pick up and start playing immediately. Braid. A simple platformer with a unique art style and some unique gameplay mechanics, namely time reversal. Limbo. Stylized platformer with some interesting storytelling and world building you might enjoy. There is risk and some difficult parts, but nothing a new gamer won't be able to get through. Osmos. Simple mechanic of movement through space and absorption of smaller items to get bigger, but it gets complicated as orbital mechanics are brought in and enemy objects racing to get bigger than you. Very simple to understand once you start playing, and it's very calming during non-competitive levels. Minecraft. Just Minecraft, not modded Minecraft. Stardew Valley. Day goodbye to your next 100 or so hours of free time. Super Mario Bros. 3. As a middle-aged guy who hadn't played video games in years, I found Red Dead Redemption 2 to be pretty great. It starts off with a tutorial that doesn't rush or assume I'm familiar with the controller, and that is really engaging. As part of the story, it was slow enough that I didn't get overwhelmed by the modern complex controller dynamics, but still kept me engaged in the game. Things were introduced slowly and built in a way that I was able to build the muscle memory to get used to all the different control options. It's made it much easier for me to start trying other games also. The story is great and it's beautiful during this shut-in time. Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm a 54-year-old woman who has never had an Xbox. I haven't watched TV since Christmas. I spent my nights robbing banks, stealing horses and basically just exploring this amazing world. Best game ever. Animal Crossing. Skyrim. That was my dad's first game and now he has over 5,000 hours. Find something that relates to something you already enjoy. Maybe it's fantasy novels or sports or technology. Maybe you like building things. Below is all based on my opinion. There are thousands of options out there, but finding something you can relate to should be the most important aspect. Understanding the skill required to play a certain video game is something everybody has to learn to some extent, so that would be the second thing to be aware of. Some games have a high threshold of skill and can be a little disheartening to play if you feel you aren't capable. Decide what kind of experience you want. Do you want short blasts of energy or maybe a long drawn out relaxing time? Perhaps something in between. Then maybe consider if you want a story experience or a more arcade experience. Story based is self-explanatory, but arcade, in my opinion, just means more skill focus over story. But there is always a bit of both in a video game. One other thing to consider would be, how much time do you have to play? Some games require some time to get the most out of, whilst others only require maybe 15 to 30 minutes here and there. All can be played for hours on end, of course, but there does seem to be a time enjoyment ratio at times. I would suggest something, but you don't know me, so why would my opinion hold any weight? It would be easier finding out more about you to offer options, but I think you might be able to get a few options out of the above 4 things. Feel free to PM me if you have more questions. Video games are amazing, and I'm very excited for you to get into them. Stardew Valley. Your wife and kiddo would love it too. Zelda. It's good for all ages, all experience types, all genders. Tons of missions and side stories. It's not too childish and not too adult. Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. Tetris addictive, it is. Slime Ranchers is a really fun and simple game I think everyone can enjoy. I believe it's free too. I recommend getting a Steam account if you haven't already. It's like online shop for games. The account is free. You only pay when buying games, and the games then get tied to your account, so you can access them from any computer. You can search for games and sort by genres. Multiplayer, single player. Suitable for kids etc. People rate and leave reviews also. Yeah, like everyone else KS saying Portal. Portal 2 has 2 modes. Single player story mode and 2-player cooperative mode. If you like puzzles, I also recommend Fez. Myst is available on Steam too. Undertale is fun and kinda retro looking. A kinda mystery adventure game. Minecraft. Kinda depends of what you like or think you would enjoy. I would suggest watching videos of people playing video games first and see what kind of video games you like to watch and then what kind of platform you wanna use. If you want an easy fun game, I could suggest maybe the Untitled Goose Game. No stress. All fun and bit more like puzzle humor kind of game. It's not a game to take very seriously. Chuchel is also one you might like. If you want a fighting game, I would suggest a play by turn kind of game. Maybe the South Park Fractured Butthole game or Drakengard 2, as the mechanics are easy to learn and kinda repetitive, but the story is good. Little Big Planet. Oregon Trail. You should try Sky, Children of the Light. It's available on iOS, iPhone or iPad. It's a non-violent game that was designed to be played with family and for gamers and non-gamers alike. Doom 1993 plays on everything, don't even need to use a mouse. I haven't seen anyone recommend any of the Telltale games. They're kind of like interactive movies. Controls aren't complicated, and there aren't many difficult reflex type moments, but most of them are fantastic. Can't go wrong with the Walking Dead ones, the Batman ones, or even the Wolf Among Us also. There's Life is Strange, which is very similar in playstyle. The Sims 4. Journey. One thing you can do is pick up a SNES Classic. It's plug into your TV and turn on simple, and has some games that were the first games for quite a few people, and lasting favorites for an entire generation. It's going to be more expensive than other items here, but I believe under 100 and you'll have something like 20 games of good quality. Ignore anyone who says Dark Souls. Fear being obnoxious. That game is difficult for the sake of being difficult for advanced gamers only.